Hello students, today we are going to discuss about last topic of this chapter, and that is parturition and lactation. So first of all, let me define parturition, and that is also called labor. Okay, so after 9 months of gestation, there is a process of giving birth to the young one, and that process is called parturition, or it is also called as a labor. Okay, and it is induced by neuroendocrinal mechanism. That means neural system and endocrine system together work. Okay, and it will be responsible for the giving birth to the young ones. And the signal from the fetus and the placenta will induce a mild uterine contraction, and such a uterine contraction is called fetal ejection reflex. Okay, and we will learn in detail in next slides. And due to this fetal ejection reflex, this will cause the release of oxytocin. You know very well, a pituitary gland. Here, maternal pituitary gland were responsible for the secretion of oxytocin. And you know very well, we have already learned in standard 11 chapter number 22 that pituitary gland will have two regions. Okay, out of that, a neurohypophysis region is responsible for oxytocin secretion. So here, this oxytocin will be released by pituitary gland, especially from neurohypophytic region. Okay, and this oxytocin causes stronger uterine muscle. Okay, and the contraction which is done stimulate the further secretion of oxytocin, and this process is continued, and it will lead to the impulsion of the baby out of the uterus. Okay, and through the birth canal. So now let me discuss in detail about parturition. So childbirth will begin with the labor. Okay, and it is a series of a strong and rhythmic uterine contraction. Okay, so for giving birth to the child, it is very important step to strong and rhythmic uterine contraction, and that will push the fetus, okay, and the placenta out of the body. Okay, so all these process is responsible for the pushing out of the fetus and placenta together. Okay, and this pushing out fetus and placenta, this process of delivery of the fetus, or we can say childbirth, is called parturition. So what is a parturition? Parturition is the process of a delivery of the fetus, okay, or we can say childbirth, and that process is called. So parturition will be induced by complex neuroendocrinal mechanism, as I told you in overview. Okay, so this is a combined effect of neural system and endocrinal system together. Okay, and the signal for the parturition originate from the fully developed fetus itself. Okay, so when fetus formation or development of a fetus is completed, at that time fetus itself will originate the signals. Okay, and the placenta which induce the mild uterine contraction. Okay, and that mild uterine contraction which is initiated by the placenta, and that contraction is called fetal ejection reflex. Result of fetal ejection reflex, it will trigger a release of oxytocin. Okay, and that is from the maternal pituitary. You know very well, pituitary gland is responsible for the secretion of oxytocin. Okay, and this pituitary region will be neurohypophysis region. Okay, so by this way, a fetal ejection reflex is responsible for the release of oxytocin from pituitary gland. During parturition, due to fetal ejection reflex, oxytocin will be secreted. Okay, so now let me discuss what is the role of oxytocin here in case of a parturition. Okay, so oxytocin will act on the uterine muscle. Okay, and it will cause a stronger uterine contraction. Previously it was a mild one. Okay, but now it will be stronger uterine contraction, and which in turn stimulate the further secretion of oxytocin. So by this way, oxytocin will be secreted more in amount. Okay, and the stimulatory reflex between the uterine contraction and oxytocin secretion, it will continue, resulting in the increasingly stronger contraction. So this is the effect of oxytocin. So due to high level of oxytocin, it will lead to expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through birth canal, and that's why oxytocin is also considered as a labor hormone. Okay, because it is mainly responsible for the labor or a parturition. Here in this diagram you can see a parturition stages. Okay, this is indicating a first stage. Okay, then this one is the second stage. Okay, and this is final stage or a third stage. Okay, and soon after the infant is delivered, means all three stages are completed. The placenta along with the decidua, okay, here you can see this is a decidua, is also expelled out. Here you can see along baby, first baby will be come out, okay, and then placenta along with the decidua, all content will be come out, okay, out of the uterus. So this is the end of a. So now let me summarize whole process of a parturition by using this flow diagram. Okay, so first of all, fully developed fetus after gestation period, and along with that a placenta will responsible for developing fetal ejection reflex. Okay, they will produce some signals and it will create a fetal ejection reflex. And as a result of fetal ejection reflex, what happened? A posterior pituitary gland, that is also called neurohypophysis of a pituitary, will secrete out the oxytocin. And this is very important hormone for this process. Okay, and as a result of oxytocin secretion, stronger uterine contraction will be result. Okay, and as a result of stronger uterine contraction, expulsion of a baby through birth canal will be done. Okay, so this is whole process of a parturition, and by this way baby will be delivered out of the womb. Now let me understand more by using this diagram how signals will be generated from the fetus, developed fetus and the placenta, and how it is responsible for fetal ejection reflex. Okay, so first of all, fetus which is already developed after 9 months of gestation period, a hypothalamus of a fetus will release a releasing hormone, and that is responsible for the anterior pituitary gland to secrete ACTH. And you know very well this ACTH will work on adrenal gland of a fetus. Okay, you know very well this why this ACTH is working on the adrenal gland. You have already learned in 22nd chapter of a standard 11. Okay, so ACTH will work on adrenal gland. As a result of that, this adrenal gland will activated and it will start secretion of two component, cortisol as well as DHES. Okay, so cortisol will responsible for the secretion of a prostaglandins. Okay, here you can see two components will be secreted, prostaglandins and prostaglands. Okay, and the placental CRH. So these are indication of signals. Means in these form the signals will be formed. So especially this prostaglandin is very important to activate the mother's hypothalamus. Okay, these all are responsible, but main function of the signal will be activated by prostaglandins. Okay, and another DHEAS which is generated by the or formed by the adrenal gland will activate this. Okay, estradiol means it will convert into the estradiol, and further it will be responsible for the secretion of estradiol. Okay, and this estradiol is also responsible for the generating some signals. And you can see here what is the full form of a DHEAS, that is a dehydroepiandrosterol. Okay, so this is responsible for formation of estradiol first, and then this estradiol will be converted into estradiol. So these all are signals, okay, which is generated by fetus and placenta itself. Okay, then what happened due to this, under the effect of this signal, okay, the signals in the form of a chemical will be mixed in the blood. Okay, and then these signals means in these chemicals will induce this hypothalamus, mother's hypothalamus, and as a result of that this hypothalamus of a mother will start secretion of a oxytocin, that is from the posterior pituitary, and that is a neurohypophysis. Okay, and as a result of that you can see oxytocin will work on this, increase receptor for the oxytocin and prostaglandins. Okay, increase the gap junction in the myometrium, and it will contraction means it is responsible, means high level of oxytocin is responsible for the strong contraction of a myometrium layer of a uterus, and that is called labor pain. After whole process of a parturition, the umbilical cord, here you can see this is the umbilical cord, is cut off, because now umbilical cord have no more functioning. Okay, means it is no more needed now. So umbilical cord will be cut off after parturition. The placenta and remnant of a umbilical cord are expelled from the maternal body after parturition, and that is called after birth. Okay, as I told you, these whole things, okay, which is inside this, the placenta, okay, it will come out of the body of a mother, and that is called after birth. After parturition, lactation play very important role, and that is one aspect of a postnatal care, means after delivery care of a baby. Okay, that is a unique to mammals, and it is called lactation. that is a breastfeeding also, that is also called breastfeeding also, the production of a mother's milk. Okay, so lactation is nothing but it is the production of a mother's milk and breastfeeding to the child. The mammary gland produces milk towards the end of a pregnancy by the process called lactation. Okay, and initially the milk which is produced will be yellowish milk. Okay, the yellowish milk will produce during the initial few days, that may be 2 to 3 days of a lactation, and that is a specifically such a milk is called colostrum. Here you can see this is a normal milk and this is a colostrum that may be a slightly yellow. Okay, and it will contain several antibodies, especially IgA antibodies will be there. Okay, so this antibody containing is essential to develop resistance for newborn babies. So it will keep away the disease in the babies. Main organ here which is involved in the lactation is a breast, or we can say is a mammary gland. Okay, which we have already discussed, but let me summarize that. The breast is composed of glandular or ductal, connective and adipose tissues. Okay, the mammary gland are modified sweat glands. So be very clear, mammary glands are nothing but it is a modified sweat glands. Okay, and are composed of 15 to 20 lobules, each drained by lactiferous duct. Okay, we have already learned about the structure. Okay, each lactiferous duct independently drain on the nipple, areola surrounded by nipple. Okay, and in men, little fat is present in the breast and the glandular system normally does not develop. Okay, here in case of a male, it is inactive in form. Okay, so let me understand how lactation will be done. The hypothalamus signals anterior pituitary gland, okay, and to secrete prolactin first. Okay, and this prolactin hormone is responsible for the stimulation of a mammary gland to produce milk. Okay, and in these mammary glands will produce milk in response to prolactin, which is stimulating mammary gland itself, and even with the response to sucking by the newborn, as well as in the changes in the estradiol level after birth. So these all are the factors which are responsible for the lactation. So now let me try to understand whole process of a lactation by using this diagram. So first of all, when sounds of a child's cry is heard by mother, what happen? Mother's brain having a higher brain centers which include hypothalamus and PIH, that is the prolactin inducing hormone cells. Okay, so higher brain centers will be activated, that is hypothalamus and PIH cells. So as PIH cells activated, this PIH cell will transfer the signal to this anterior pituitary. Here you can see. As this anterior pituitary gland receive the signal from the PIH cell, what happen? Inhibition of a prolactin cells will be removed. And as a result of that, prolactin amount will be increased. Means these cells will now start secretion of a prolactin. So under the effect of prolactin, it will work on the mammary gland of a mother. Okay, and it will start secretion of a milk secretion. And such a way, this milk will be sucked by the fetus. Okay, and milk will be ejected and it will be sucked by the baby. Okay, along with this, what happen? The hypothalamus will secrete or induce the posterior pituitary gland. Okay, and it will secrete the releasing hormone, and as a result of that, this oxytocin will be released, and this oxytocin itself will be produced or synthesized inside the hypothalamus. Okay, and now it will be secreted out by the posterior pituitary gland, and this posterior pituitary gland will start secretion of oxytocin, and this oxytocin will work on the muscles of a breast or a mammary gland. Okay, and especially on the smooth muscle, and smooth muscle will be contract, and as a result of that, you can see here when baby suck the breast or a nipple, at that time milk will be ejected. Okay, and you can see here this both together work, and as a result of that, baby can get the milk. Okay, and as baby is sucking the milk, what happen? If baby is sucking the milk, at that time mechanoreceptor in the nipple will induced. Okay, so there is a receptor present on the nipple of a breast of a female or a mother. Okay, so when baby sucking the milk, at that time mechanoreceptor in the nipple will be induced, and as a result of that, it will send the signals to the ascending sensory information will be sent to the further to the higher brain centers, and by this way more and more signal will be sent and more oxytocin will be increased secreted, and prolactin also secreted, and as a result of that milk secretion also induced. So now let me discuss about benefits of a breastfeeding for mother and also for the baby. Okay, so breast milk contain all the nutrients for the baby need. Okay, so by this the baby will get the benefit. It protect against the respiratory and gastrointestinal infection. Okay, to the baby, it is as easy to digest. Then it reduce the risk of ovarian cancer and breast cancer in the mother. So it is beneficial to mother. Okay, and it prevent the emergence of diathesis, anemia, and rickets. Okay, so this is emergence prevention will be done by the breastfeeding. Breastfeeding creates a correct bite of a child. Okay, so this is also important for the babies. Increase mental development of a child. Okay, and breastfeeding provide a close emotional and psychological connection. This is very important. Okay, why babies are more attached with the mother? Okay, because of this. So breastfeeding provide a close emotional and psychological contact with the child's mother. That's why bonding between child and mother is very close. This is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
Hormonal changes also cause the cells of the mother's mammary glands to differentiate, resulting in these glands producing milk by a process called lactation towards the end of pregnancy. Did you know that at the end of the gestation period, the fetus as well as the placenta starts secreting hormones that set in motion mild uterine contractions called the fetal ejection reflex? These contractions in turn act on the mother's pituitary gland that now starts secreting oxytocin, a hormone that causes stronger uterine contractions. The simultaneous uterine contractions and oxytocin release makes the contractions stronger with every passing minute and ultimately results in the expulsion of the baby from the mother's uterus. This process of delivery of the fetus is called parturition. Immediately after the birth of the baby, the placenta is expelled from the uterus. Soon after birth, the baby needs to be breastfed by the mother as early as possible. This is because immediately after parturition, the mammary glands start secreting colostrum, a form of milk that is rich in antibodies and improves the immune system of the baby.
During a vaginal childbirth, the first stage of labor lasts about 12 to 19 hours and starts when your baby settles lower into your pelvis. In response, your cervix begins to efface or become thinner and dilate or widen. During this time, you may feel strong, regular contractions occurring every 5 to 20 minutes, and lower back pain and cramping that doesn't go away. You may see a brownish or reddish mucus discharge, which could be the mucus plug at the opening of your cervix, falling out. Your water may break, which can either be a large gush of fluid or a continuous trickle. If you experience any of these symptoms, contact your doctor or midwife to see if you should go to the hospital. At the beginning of stage 2 of labor, which usually lasts from 20 minutes to 2 hours, your cervix is fully dilated to 10 centimeters, and your baby's head has moved beyond the cervical opening into your birth canal. Your doctor or midwife will instruct you to push during your contractions and rest between them. In a normal delivery, your baby's head will rotate to face your back. During active labor, your uterus is divided into an active segment that contracts, pushing the baby downward, and a flexible passive segment that remains relaxed, stretching to provide more room for the baby to pass through. When the top of your baby's head appears, or crowns, your doctor may make a small cut, called an episiotomy, to enlarge the vaginal opening. Then, your doctor or midwife will give you instructions on how to push your baby out. As your baby's head passes through the birth canal, it molds into an elongated shape. An elongated head shape will resolve itself within a few days as the skull bones shift back into place. After your baby's head exits the birth canal, his or her head and shoulders will rotate to help the shoulders pass through the birth canal. Your baby's shoulders are delivered one after the other in order to fit through your pelvis. Once the shoulders emerge, the rest of your baby slides out easily. After your baby is born, his or her umbilical cord will be cut. In stage 3 of labor, which may last 5 to 30 minutes, mild contractions will help push the placenta out of the uterus. During this stage, you and your baby may begin bonding through skin-to-skin contact and breastfeeding.
In next lecture, we will start new chapter from this unit, and that is reproductive health. So till that, goodbye.